Our guest today is Oreoluwa Shonibare.
There's a foundational logic to business. The more you spend time thinking, the more you spend time working, the more you spend time doing, the more you unlock.
Oreoluwa's impressive track record includes growing WiiCreate's revenue by an average of 100% year on year.
Having worked with so many startups, we have the blueprint for growth for almost any industry in tech. The company that WiiCreate is now, it could never have been that without the next set of co-founders. When I got the next set of co-founders, we're able to now expand the vision and say, let's do something bigger. And then that was when COVID happened.
Ooh.
On the 30th of March, businesses across Nigeria's busiest centres were forced to close as people were ordered to stay at home.
In that period was when we now launched Medbox. And in 3 months, we had sold 1,500, almost 2,000 boxes. By 6 months, we had sold over 5,000. And the numbers literally just 10x.
Were there times you were discouraged?
Oh, yes, 100%. In Nigeria.
Hello, Africa, and you're welcome to another episode of Mr. Jegs Africa. This one promises to be very insightful, very exciting. This is one of those episodes you watch a couple of times and it sinks in, then becomes like second nature. Then you start seeing the results as fast as possible. I can promise you that. Our guest today is Oreoluwa Shonibare, a young entrepreneur who has carved a niche for himself at the intersection of technology and practical solutions. Since 2017, he has been steering the ship at WiiCreate, transforming it from a student-run t-shirt venture into a leading merchandising company, working with businesses across Africa. Oreoluwa's impressive track record includes growing WiiCreate's revenue by an average of 100% year on year. WiiCreate has helped over 450 startups build social and emotional connections with their audiences. Please welcome the man, the myth, the legend, the merch god, Oreoluwa Shonibare.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Sir Jegs. Very happy to be here.
All right. Thank you very much for coming. This is one interview I've been anticipating for like a couple of weeks now. So, you are in the merch business.
Yes.
And now you've merged merch with tech. It's a very competitive space, especially in Nigeria, Africa, where you operate. And well, you operate in about 3 countries now?
Yes.
Okay, so your base for now is Nigeria, where you operate. It's very competitive. How did you differentiate yourself from others?
I think primarily the space in which we operate is generally what people know as branding. So
yes.
Like how you brand yourself. And the general understanding of branding is very limited. So in differentiating yourself in a space like ours, such as in every other space, expertise and depth of knowledge is what will really set you apart. Because people sell toothpicks and sell billions of dollars of toothpicks. The reason why they can do that is because there is a problem and they found a solution and they know that the solution is needed at scale. And they are able to find the places where that solution is priority and is essential for growth. So once you are able to understand that, what you offer is powerful enough to deliver growth for someone else, and also that if someone else understands it a bit better, the person will be better off because of that understanding. So setting ourselves apart was quite easy because we understood our products. So we started out with t-shirts, and generally I remember when we first started, I was in uni then, and it wasn't WiiCreate then, it was just a t-shirt. I was just selling t-shirts, and then people say, "Oh wow, you sell t-shirts?" And I'm like, "Yes," but even then, the name of the business was Carry a Message. It was
Carry a Message.
Carry a Message, and that spoke to the essentiality of what it was. I used to say t-shirts are walking billboards, and you can communicate a lot with it. So I didn't just see t-shirts as what the average mind will see what a t-shirt is. I saw the usefulness and the functionality of it, and then over time, my understanding of that product, as well as my team and everybody that we work together at WiiCreate, grew, and then we understood that, okay, we were giving people the power to build association, power to inform an audience, power to make ambassadors of people that love the brand, and also give the brand an expression. So we set ourselves apart by our expertise, to be honest, because between when we started and now, even though we are selling the same product, the way we understand the product has grown a lot. And between 2017 and now, when I look back, I'm like, I'm selling something different now because it makes a very deep mark, and I have a very good understanding of it. And that has helped me to help my customers achieve their goals.
So you said you have a very deep understanding of your business. There was a time, a while back, we were talking, and you mentioned about deep understanding. Are you saying competition don't have a deep understanding of their business? Is that all that sets you up? I understand that is very important, but is that the only metric?
So I think a lot of times when it comes to business, people follow the wrong metrics. Generally, when I speak to people that want to start new business, I say, like, when you're starting out, while you are not making the money you'd like to make, ensure that you're gaining the insights that will make you that money. And generally, I feel like for certain business industries, people don't look to innovate because there is a way they see the business. So they are like, oh, if I'm selling food, for instance, or I'm just selling this food, or I'll just keep selling this food. And so far people are coming, I'll keep selling this food. But you don't realize that from what you sell, you can understand patterns. You can understand your consumer a lot better. You can understand the driving force in that consumer that you're currently serving, and then find other people with that same driving force that you can also meet a need in. So in my business, I understand very deeply what I'm solving, who I can solve it for. So aside from people I already cater to, there are other people that I can understand why they would need the same product. And I think generally in every business, you should be able to deep dive into the need more than the product. Get the need. Because if you just sell a product and you don't understand the need, you don't understand the psychological driver for that particular product. Why do people buy X, Y, Z? If you know the whys a lot deeper on a psychological basis, you can sell it to anybody in the world, because human beings are the same, different contexts, different cultures here and there. But the more you can pinpoint people need to identify with communities, this is why they need how to form an association outside of a clearly branded, oh, this is an event. People want to say, I love this brand, I want to wear this shirt. People want to say, I want to support this community, I want to support this cause. Now, you don't just sell t-shirts because somebody came to you to say, I want to print this. You need to ask yourself why the person come to say they want to do this, and then create more avenues for that person to need what you're selling. So understanding, and to be honest, the space I play in is saturated, but there's no depth. I remember when I was about to start, and people would say, like, there are other people in this space. So, and I was like, a lot of people do business just to get busy. And after they get busy, they don't forge ahead. Like, people know an uncle here that can do this thing for them, an uncle there that can, that businesses like that, like a laundry service. Prior to 2010, there were more laundry people that were not branded. Like, it wasn't a company, it was just this auntie can do our laundry, that uncle can do our laundry. People noticed that gap and started creating actual laundry services that were properly branded, and they had company setups which you can hold somebody's leg and say, oh, I've not gotten this. So,
Yes.
and more business started coming up. And between 2010 and 2024, you can say like 10 major businesses that's what they do.
Yeah.
So they filled a void, and that void is deeper than just, okay, I have a laundryman that I use, but I want a certain level of convenience in this particular activity that I'm outsourcing to this person, because that person that I outsourced it to, he burnt my clothes.
Yeah.
He didn't bring back 2 shirts. And those discomforts, they make a craving for the person to find better.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of times people have people that they can get stuff done with, but those people are not also built to take things to the next level. And I understand why, because the context of Nigeria and the way the country is can make you just stay at a particular level and just keep doing your thing and coasting rather than innovating, which is what a lot of businesses do. Even before they are running out of cash or running out of demand, you need to constantly innovate. You need to constantly change things. You need to constantly tweak things. You need to constantly understand your customers and understand the need, not just to solve the problem as per your product is solving it, but understanding the need to the T.
So with this depth of knowledge that you have, was there ever a time you wanted to throw in the towel, or was there ever a time you ran out of cash?
Yes. So when we were about to start WiiCreate, I met my co-founder on Twitter.
You met your co-founder on Twitter?
Yes, he put out a tweet. He was looking for a co-founder. We were doing similar things in different universities. So we're selling T-shirts to communities, to departments, trade fair, the whole. Yes. So when I was in that in Bowen University, he was in CU. And then he was about to graduate from university.
CU, that's Covenant.
Covenant University.
Okay.
He was about to graduate, and then he was like, he's leaving school and he wants to actually keep on this trajectory, but he wants to actually start a company. And I was also in the same headspace. And then interestingly, we're in the same Ikorodu. Shout out to Ikorodu boys. We're in the same location, and we met, and then we shared the idea of this thing. We've hit something in school, and we know that outside school there is still a need for this. Obviously, people are solving this, but they don't yet know how to solve it to a higher level. And then we said, okay, let's start a company. And then we're like, okay, let's try and raise money. And then I'm from a very traditional background. My parents are civil servants. So I was like, I've never seen anybody that give money to start business. But I had savings. Anybody that knows me knows that I'm a personal finance advocate. Like, arrange your money. Don't run out of cash.
He's very shrewd. Very, very, very emphasis on the 3 verys.
And I think it's important, because while I was in school, I think throughout my time in school, I probably made like maybe 500,000 or like 750,000. But out of the money I made, I saved a chunk of it. And by the time I was leaving school, I had like 300K in savings. And then by the time we were about to start the business, after we had meetings with people and they were like, oh, they can't. I was like, okay, let's start with this 300K. When we start, we'll return the money when we make the money. Yeah. And we used the savings in 3 months. They paid me back my loan, and I was very happy that I got the money back. I think that was the first time I knew that, okay, there was something here, because what I had used 1 year to save, in a very short while, we made the money back, and they were able to give me back the money, meaning we made more than that in profit. Yes. And I was like, oh, that's good, because I was 21. My co-founder was 20, straight out of uni. Our mates were NYSC. I actually served in my own company. Because I went to somebody else.
Interesting.
Yes, but my parents were like, Omo, you need to have this job.
Experience.
Yeah, you need to get job experience. And I was like, I don't think I need to, not because I don't see the place for it, but because I have something in my hand now that the opportunity cost of leaving it is a lot higher because of the person I just met. And I'm like, let's give this time. So I actually gave it time. I said I would give WiiCreate 2 years before I would decide whether I can do this for the long term. Yeah. And by the time 8 months in, my co-founder had to leave. He had to get a job because pressure, people say, you need to And he was a first class graduate. So there was more pressure. Do you get?
From his parents?
From his parents, yeah. I was a second class upper 4.3 graduate.
Don't tell us whether it's 4.3. Is he second class upper or not? Don't tell us how close you were to a first class. It was second class upper.
Yes, second class upper.
Pressuring people with 4.3. How about people who did not get 4.3? All right, anyway, just hating.
Second class upper, and I studied mass comm, which was not a professional course. So he studied accounting. So the context of the course also explains like the need to get on a professional track as early as possible. I was more of a creative, and then I understood it, and then I kept on pushing. And now I was the only co-founder, and then this is where it gets very interesting. We started selling T-shirts to startups, started selling T-shirts to communities, started selling T-shirts. People that have been following us for a very long time. Shout out to you guys. You guys have been amazing. Yeah. Our community. And we saw the share support, and we also saw the need that we're meeting, even though everybody was selling T-shirts. Yeah. Now, I never ran out of cash because we constantly had demand. But we started from T-shirts. And I started learning that there were more things people needed. And people constantly asked, do you do this? Do you do that? And
so the reason I'm picking something is the reason you never ran out of cash or threw in the towel was because there was always demand.
Yes. So we always had demand, and we were growing with our community from the get-go. Yep. So for my journey, I always tell people about start businesses. Find 1 or 2 flagship customers. Now, who are flagship customers? They are customers that you will probably be your first to 10 adopters when you launch. And you need to really understand. You use them to learn all those lessons about how you make all that money. And it's very important that you know that. So you are over-delivering. You are talking. You are asking questions. For us, it was Carrywise, Piggyvest. Those were our first 2 customers, our flagship customers, to be honest. And I'm very grateful every time to the founders and the early team of those 2 startups, because from them we learned the insights that led us to work with 450 startups, over 450 startups at the moment, across Africa. And it was just their constant, this is our goal, we're trying to achieve this. How can you help us? And you can imagine that we didn't know how much what we were selling could enable them achieve their goals. Initially, when you start business, somebody comes to you and says, I want to do this. So you think the person that's coming to you is the one that has the power to give you like an imagination, to lead you as to what to create. So you're like, if this person says he wants this, I will deliver what this person is saying. But you also need to know what that person is trying to achieve, other than just the person coming to come and meet you. So after we worked with Carrywise for like a couple of months and Piggyvest for a couple of months, we now started saying, okay, we need to, obviously, I was of a marketing background, advertising and public relations, specialization in mass communication. So I was like, okay, this type of messaging will be great for this company. I'll go to their website, I'll do an analysis, make a design, and offer it to them and say, we can do this. I'm happy to do maybe 10, just so that you can see it and see how it looks like, and you can see that this would resonate a lot and help you build more credibility. Because they were popular online, but their next 1 million, 2 million, 5 million users were not online. They were offline. So the users that you have will get you your next couple users, and those guys are offline. So how do you translate that? How do you communicate that? And that was what our thinking was. It was no longer somebody comes to us and says, I want this.
Yes.
Okay, it was a matter of, we think this would help take you from here to there. And this tool is what we know would help you grow. And at the moment, having worked with so many startups, we have the blueprints for growth for almost any industry in tech because of just the experience. We've worked with health tech, we've worked with health tech, we've worked with fintech, we've worked with all the tech, insurance tech. And it's just like, is what makes us special, our expertise. Because we know per event, per use case, per time of the year, everything we've done, because we double down on not just selling the product that we're selling as per you want it, come and take it, but coming to meet you, solving a deeper need, which is what I'm talking about, like deeper understanding.
Yeah.
So we never run out of demand because we constantly synthesize value, so that by the time they work with you, they know that these guys understand this thing more than we do. But I'm the customer. Think about a food business, for instance. I don't know how to cook stir fry, but when I buy stir fry from a restaurant, I don't need to know the how. They are the professionals.
Yes.
So once you understand that you are the one actually synthesizing value, you now have to say, okay, how do I convince my customers to see this value and see how much it helps them? And the lessons I'm sharing are industry agnostic or business agnostic.
Yeah.
Like you can apply
Anywhere.
these same principles to every other business. Like, you know, when you meet somewhere and the person says, like a billionaire will say, if I sell toothpick, I'll still be a billionaire. Me, I'm not a billionaire, but there's a foundational logic to business. And I feel like the more you spend time thinking, the more you spend time working, the more you spend time doing, the more you unlock. And I started business when it was just last week that I was thinking that I actually started business when I was 16. Because then I sell pads to my guys in game pads.
Game pads.
Yes, game pads. To my guys in Oxbridge Junior College. People can still remember if they see the video. And we would literally play games. And I would go to Computer Village, buy the pad, sell it to them. And after that, then I went to uni, Bowen University. And basically just that experience. And then by the time I was 21, I now actually started a company with Donald Onwochie. So yes, I never actually ran out of money because I followed the demand and I kept on synthesizing value.
Okay. Will you say there are times you never ran out of money? Were there times you were discouraged?
Oh yes, 100%.
Aha.
In Nigeria.
The way you called Nigeria.
In Nigeria.
A lot is. Please tell us.
Yes, so I think first point of discouragement was when my co-founder left. So my co-founder taught me a lot, actually. I think I've been blessed with people that knew a lot more than I did or had a bigger vision. At different points in my entrepreneurship journey, like I said, my first business activity was when I was a lot younger. When I got into university, I went for an internship at Verdant Zero. Shout out to Daniel Bentley for plugging me to that job, actually. I was at Verdant Zero for like 6 months. And 3 months actually was CWES. And I was basically trying to understand what the advertising agency business was. And that experience helped me as a creative. Then after I left, I went back to uni. I realized that, okay, I could do designs for people. So I started designing and I was a writer. Just lots of activities, but it's in doing that you will not make doings.
Hey, it's in doing. It's in Nigerian parlance, doings.
Doings. And to be honest, over time, after I left uni, I met Donald, and Donald had a bigger vision. And that helped me because I learned so much from Donald. I learned about basically the sheer size of, like, being able to dream big and chase, even if you don't have a lot. Like, just know what it takes to build what you want and start learning the tiny bits. Like, Donald was Adobe certified as a designer at the age of like 16.
Wow.
So he was always like down to, he was a documentative guy. Like, he documented his numbers, all of that. He was an accountant. So you can understand that. And I learned that from him. Now, after Donald left, I had a new set of co-founders about a year after. And they brought in an element of, you need to know where the demand is and you need to follow that demand. Don't just follow the demand of the product you're selling. Also find the associations, associative products, complementary products. The need is still from the same need, though, that you would sell other products. Yeah. But you need to understand that need enough for you to understand the other products that will help satisfy the customer. Very brilliant. And that was another thing I learned from them. But back to what you said about like discouragement. at the point when my co-founder left, it was very discouraging because now this is somebody that had sold me a bigger vision. I had committed a time in my head, and then before that time, the person that brought the vision now says that he has to step aside.
Wow.
And then I remember just taking like a month off WiiCreate, and I went to, because I used to be, I was a designer, so I had like clients here and there that you would design for on contract basis, and I actually made one client an employer, and that was one.
You made one client
an employer, so I actually started working full time.
Okay, for the
and they reminded me why I started the business in the first place, because when I worked for Verdict Life Care, and they didn't pay me. It's an Indian company, so they didn't pay me. They
How
wanted
many
to
months?
stress. Yeah, like a month plus. And I was like, wait, I did this because something sidetracked me. I said, I beg. So I went back to WiiCreate, and I then reduced the scope of the business down to what only I could do. And that reduction of scope meant that the parts that Donald would have driven, we couldn't do that at the moment, but we were more balanced because we could achieve on a higher level what we're already doing. So we grew our client base. I think then we grew from like 10 startups to like 50, like I think 45. And then that was where we were. But our customers loved us. I think that's one thing that is very important. Your customer pays you. You know when people say, I want to start a business so that I don't have any boss. Chuckles, you don't know. You don't know, because your customer is actually the person that is paying you. And you have to satisfy the customer enough, not just for the customer to pay you, but for the customer to tell others. That's the goal if you want to build a business that will keep growing. You have to satisfy your customers to an excess so that they can tell somebody about you. Let me just share one trick. So when we first started, because we were very big on having a positive relationship with our community, meaning like people that loved our brand generally, and then also with our customers, people that actually bought from us. So your community can become your customer, but your community has to be bigger than your customers.
Your community can become your customers,
but your community has to be bigger than your customers.
Oh, is it not meant to be the other way around? Like your customers have to be bigger than your community so that they keep you going or something? Please.
Yes, but more people need to know about you than the people that do business with you. That's a better way to put it.
Okay.
More people need to know about you than the people that actually do business with you, because the people that know about you can leverage your growth. People that work with you can also leverage your growth. One directly, the other indirectly.
I see.
So we literally had to say, we are going to create value for our community and then for our customers. Our customers will tell other people, our community will talk about us. So 2 levels of growth, and you double down on that. By the time I met my new set of co-founders, and I call them co-founders because we say I don't call them co-founders, I call them co-founders because the project that WiiCreate, the company that WiiCreate is now, it could never have been that without the next set of co-founders. Remember that when Donald left, I had to now steady the ship, reduce the scope.
Yes.
And then I think then we were a team of 4. I was the person that was doing marketing, I was the person that was doing sales, I was the person that was doing, the other people were production people, but I was the person doing every other thing. So now when I got the next set of co-founders, we're able to now expand the vision and say, let's do something bigger. And then that was when COVID happened.
Ooh.
That was when COVID happened. And then
Interesting.
Very interesting.
But your co-founder leaving was the major reason why you were
very discouraged.
somewhat discouraged.
Yeah, very discouraged.
You mentioned something about COVID. Were people buying merch or printing anything during COVID?
People were not printing for a particular common use case.
Okay.
Let me give an example. During COVID, everybody was at home.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Most people
actually. Yeah. Work from home was a thing.
Yeah.
Now, because of the COVID, you couldn't have in-person events. So you couldn't gather people in a hall. But even if you were having an event, you could still do like virtual events. If your company gets you a mouse, it solves the problem. They want you to know that even though you're working from home, you're still part of this company.
I see.
So association, identification, which are now so I do this thing where I connect products to psychological ideas, like so identification, association, convenience is another form of it. So you want to be convenient, so you want something that will not stress you. That's convenience, stress-free. Identification was something, association was something, and the reason why those things were a thing was because now people are not coming to the office. So the reason why there's a logo in front of the office in your office is because you want people to know that when they come there, they say this is Fruity Life.
Yeah.
The reason why you want
This
somebody
is
in
a
his
brand, yeah,
yes,
this
the
is a
reason why you want your staff at home to have an item that has Fruity Life on it, so that when somebody comes to the house, they see that, oh, you know Fruity Life. Oh, I work there.
Oh, I see.
But it's the same thing that signage, the same function that it serves, the same thing that a branded phone stand serves in the house of a person that works at Fruity Life, or a person that loves Fruity Life, or an investor in Fruity Life. So there was now a broader need during COVID, because now people are not coming out.
Yeah.
So you have to have footprints in people's houses. So in that period was when we now launched Merchbox. Merchbox was our first digital product. We basically bundled merch items. That was when we went full on merch. And then we went from a t-shirt company to a merch company. And in 3 months, we had sold at least 1,500, almost 2,000 boxes.
Wow.
By 6 months, we had sold over 5,000. And the numbers literally just 10x in the middle of COVID.
That's interesting. So COVID was a good period for your business.
It was a good period. But now let me tell you how it came about. So we were in our houses, obviously. In our houses, isolating. Then they lifted the ban.
Yes.
And then I and my co-founder, so I went to the office and started staying in the office. And then we're just like, okay, what can we do? Because now everybody's like, my business might die. You know, all sorts of news just going around. Oh my God, demand has gone down. People are laying off. And we're just like, how can we? That was a ridiculous period. And I was like, how can we really, like, there is still a need that we need to see in this period. And that's why you should innovate for every business. There's no business that you cannot innovate in. Like, there's literally no... Innovation might be a very big word. But let's put it that you should be able to do things differently. You should be able to experiment. You should be able to come up with new strategies. You should be able to just tweak things. And then we just say, let's try Merchbox. And Merchbox changed the trajectory.
How did you market it? You sold 5,000 in a few months. How did you market it? How did you get people to know about it? Okay, so by 2020, I did a thread on Twitter. And the thread on Twitter, my handle is AMB_ORE. And then if you search... Say it clearly.
AMB_ORE.
Okay.
And if you check... if you search that with Merchbox, you will see the thread that announced the Merchbox. And prior to then, we already had like companies we had worked with. At that point, we had done maybe over 100 startups now, almost 200.
Oh, I see.
So now we had people that were work from home friendly.
I see.
And then by the time we delivered the first 5 customers, people posted it on social media because they were at home. If you were in the office and they gave you a package, you are less likely to say, oh my God, but it was such a period where everybody was down. Yeah. And then your company sends you a gift. And oh my God, thank you very much. Brilliant. And then people take a picture and say, oh my God, I really love this that my company has shared for me. That's connection. And just, so let me explain this. Building connections that are strong is essential for a business's growth. This is one reason why the business that I run, by the grace of God, will always have people to cater to. Because we all need to build stronger connections to grow. We need stronger connections with our customers. We need stronger connections with our investors. We need stronger connections with our partners. We need stronger connections with our staff. All of these connections lead the growth of companies. So by the time, from face value, people will say, oh, people only buy these kind of items at the end of the year. But what you don't realize is that you don't need connections just at the end of the year. You need connections at various points. You have an anniversary. You have where that's low. We have 7 years old. You need a product launch. You have events. All of these are things that we have to map out to understand. And the reason I'm explaining it like this so that you also in your business, in that thing that you're starting out, you can also say, how many places do I see chin chin? Why do I see chin chin? What demographic do I see chin chin? You don't just see it as chin chin. People buy it in church.
Yeah, dialing down into the drive.
You really need to know where, trace it. And to be honest, you'll be surprised how much demand there is.
I see.
How much demand there is. The tip I wanted to share was, when we first started, if we made a mistake on your order, we'll give you an extra shirt and we will not collect the error back. It cost us money, but it got us trust. And trust is more valuable than money when you're starting out. Because the money you're not making, you need to get the insights.
Insights, yes.
Very important.
That's like a guiding principle for you.
Yes.
That's
So I can never be stranded. Because the insight I have, I must use it.
I love that. What has been the most challenging aspect of your business? Many people say it's human beings. Many people say it's raising funds. Many people say it's, many elements, account for being the most challenging. What has been yours in your industry?
To be honest, when I reflect on the past 6 years of being head boy at WiiCreate, head boy. Yeah,
I like that.
So I call myself head boy because when we started out, I used to say head boy. People would say CEO. I say there's nothing executive about what I'm doing. So I'm not CEO. I'm head boy.
Head boy, that's interesting. So what are the non-conventional names? Before we go back to that answer, what are the non-conventional names in your organization?
We have head boy.
Do you have head girl?
We don't have head girl.
Okay.
We don't have head girl. I think it's because we have the person that brings in the money, which is our head of sales, which is a girl. Maybe we should start calling her head girl. Yeah, because
okay. What are the other non-conventional names?
I can't remember now.
Okay.
But yeah, I think
so,
head boy.
Okay,
yes.
Let's go back to
Yes. So reflecting on the past 6 years of my journey building WiiCreate, I think one of the biggest challenges that I faced, I would say, is the macro forces. I remember the first year of running WiiCreate, first 2 years actually, our biggest cost was electricity. And it choke.
Yeah.
And this is for a young business, so we even took like a leap of faith. We started our own. We got a garage. There's a video on YouTube where you see how we built our first office. It's storage now. We thank God for growth. But basically, that garage cost us a lot of money because we're not yet making the money for the space. We just say, let's get a space.
Yes.
So the electricity cost, it was a lot. And I remember just thinking, I think it was like a 20% of our revenue because of the kind of generator we're using, the frequency with which we were using the place. I remember that we sold 10,000 t-shirts in that year. That was in 2019. And I was just thinking, how can, if I do 100,000 shirts, with this electricity cost 10x. So that was just where my head was at. And this leads me to my biggest blessing. So the biggest challenge is the macro forces that I can't control.
Yeah.
But by the grace of God, I've been blessed with remarkable people. Like, I'm very grateful for the people that I don't just do businesses, but I do life with. Currently, we have people that have been with us for 6 years. We don't churn. If we churn, it's a very emotional exit for anybody that Jackpa has brought a lot of sorrows. But my heart goes out with all my people. Like, shout out to Sonia in London and just people in different places. Shout out to, we have a video actually about people of We. You can check on YouTube too. And they've been basically a cushion for all the drama, because like any problem that we face at WiiCreate, we have the solutions in house. We come up with the ideas in house. And I have been saddled with the responsibility to, obviously as CEO, you're meant to come up with all these solutions, but a bulk of the solutions that we come up with at WiiCreate is actually by the people that I am privileged to lead. Tech Change My Life, for instance, was Boma Praise George's idea. It is, because we still do other episodes. We have 2 seasons out. Second season, we partnered with Paystack to do it as a TV series of interviews, where we basically ask people about their journey in tech and how they've grown. Create Conference was something that we came up with also as a team. You can check that on YouTube too. But just basically how we've been able to transform the brand that is WiiCreate to what it is now has been the brainchild of different people in the team. And that has also gained us growth that has cushioned the macro forces that we cannot control. So we've just stayed true to what value that we offer. We've stayed true as a team. A lot of people love our team. They love the energy. And to be honest, I'm very proud of the people that I work with. And people that I work with, both my team and all the value that we're able to create, and also the people that we create it for. Because at WiiCreate, we try our best. We try our best to constantly deliver value. Constantly try to deliver value to our customers and help them achieve their goals. We pride ourselves as basic partners for growth. Like, we want to be there for our customers and try our best to deliver as much value as we can. And like, coming from somebody that worked somewhere that I had to leave in a month, I'm very proud of the company that we are at the moment, because we don't churn. People love the work that they do. People like coming to work. Unfortunately, because of COVID and a lot of things, we come to work once a week, but people look forward to that. And it's exciting.
Even till now?
Yeah.
Once a week?
Yeah, we do hybrid. Yeah, but production comes every day, but the other departments work from home. Okay. And it's just something that I'm happy we've been able to carve such in the context of the country. And yeah.
Amazing. What is the future of WiiCreate? Where are you going?
I think whenever I think about the future, I'm very excited about it. And just the sheer evolution of the company from where we started till now, it's a vantage point from where we stand now. And then we now imagine, judging from all the elements that we've built with the culture that we have, the next 5 years will be very exciting for us and also for our customers. Because one thing we know is that we are community-driven and we are solution-driven. And the more we grow depth in what we do, the more the value would blossom, basically. But the next 5 years, we're looking at expansion. Next 5 years, we're looking at enabling more companies. Currently, we've crossed the 450 mark, 500 at the moment. But my goal is to get to 1,000 companies and also be able to assist early stage companies. I think there is, as you grow as a company, responsibility is conferred on you by the sheer amount of growth that you have to be responsible for the ecosystem. You should contribute to the growth. And it's not easy in this time in the country, for instance.
Yeah.
So we are trying our best. Last year, we did a WiiCare project where we aided 100 startups across Africa with merch for their first meeting. We wanted to go into your first meeting confident, because we know that plays a huge part in like the trajectory of your project. So the next 5 years, more growth, more countries. Fingers crossed, we should be able to fulfill in the Eastern Hemisphere in the next couple months, by the end of this year. we should be able to deliver in places like Canada and the US. And we want to be able to also cover the whole of Africa. I think we are more Africa focused. But we also know that as a result of movements that is happening in the country, you have a lot more people that are in Canada and the US, and we want to meet that demand too. Amazing. But our focus is Africa first. So more growth, more reach, more ability to come through for our customers. And also, I'm big on my people. And my people include like my team, includes my community, which includes people that just love our brand or people that actively work with us. So we want to look for more avenues to reach more people and provide more value for our community. But above all, our focus is to enable people to build stronger connections with their communities, whether it's a community of people that just have similar likes, or a community of people that maybe a business community, or even a business in and of itself and its public, so its community basically. Maybe people that follow you on social media, or people that you've serviced, or your investors, just being able to build stronger bonds that can lead to growth and also help people to build social and emotional connections with their audience. I think that is our mantra. That's always what we'll run with. We want to be able to enable people to build stronger connections. We had a conference, I already referenced it, Create conference, where we basically itemized and expanded on what building stronger connections entails in business, and how merch is a medium for people to feel love. Because psychologically, we like gifts. Yeah, like gifting is the emotional pulse. Everybody wants to give a gift that people would appreciate, people would love. Yeah. And that opens a window of you to deepen a bond, whether it's, like I said, a team member, whether it's an investor, whether it's a customer, whether it's a community, or even just an event. So we want to give people the power, both knowledge and ability, to act on building stronger connections.
That's the future. So what is Oreoluwa Shonibare's legacy in, say, looking back at your life at age 90, 100, 150, 180, any, as long as you want to live, right? What legacy would you like to live?
I think currently I'm 28 years old. And every time I think of what my legacy would be, I think I would like to leave a positive influence first. Because at the end of the day, everything will pass away. And even what is lasting will pass away. So, and that's why my people are very important to me. Because at the end of the day, obviously we'll make money, obviously we'll grow, but the lives that we will impact, I feel like I want to be somebody that, because someone met me, the person was able to achieve a certain level of growth that the person did not see coming. And I remember one of the first persons that joined our team, and he was working as used to wash nets, like screen nets. And then I was just like, I feel like, and it was very responsible while he was doing that. And I was like, this is the guy that, and I spoke to the boss, because it was not a direct, hire. It was just like somebody that would come around. And I was like, I think this guy is somebody I would want to work with. And currently, Hafiz is one of our leads in production, as it is. And just, for instance, somebody cannot express himself now. He's more confident.
Yeah. I think I saw him on your...
Yeah, on the video. Yeah. Just some very tiny things. But because of I'm a people person, I want to be able to offer people value that transcends monetary definitions. So maybe like 100,000, 200,000. And this is one of the reasons why I actually started Divide Podcast.
Divide?
Podcast. My
Divide.
podcast. Yes, my podcast. And basically the general idea was to improve the general quality of conversations that people have in public domain. Like, just, if you go on Twitter, conversations are very entertainment, hardly ever insightful. So I started the podcast to just itemize things that I know that will help the average young person be more retrospective, be more introspective, like to think before you just act or just be influenced. And I started for my children because I want them to be able to say, what would daddy say, or what would, so.
That's so brilliant.
Yeah.
Those are some of your legacies, or
Yes.
is that?
Yes, I want to be able to influence people past the lines of just monetary value. Possibly even eternal value, something that can literally change your eternal destination. But just positive influence that opens the mind of a person, inspires a person to think, to be better, to be more productive, and also to also want to be a good influence. I think it's very important, not just to be influenced positively, but to also take on the responsibility to be a good influence. Because a lot of times when we think of influencers, for instance, influencers to an extent are commercially driven because it's their livelihood. But I feel like the average person should want to be an influencer because you want to have a positive influence on the people around you.
Yeah.
So just more socially responsible people, and I want to inspire people to be more socially responsible. I think that is a huge gap in our society because there are not a lot of examples that are positive and wholesome and well-rounded that you can say, oh, this person has a good family, this person does not have horrible takes about about any random topic.
Yeah.
This person, you get just somebody that is consistent and by the grace of God, primarily influenced by God. I think I'm a faith-based person, and I've always been a faith-based person. God has always had a strong stake in my life. So I want that stake to be shared and influence every other output. So whatever Oreoluwa Shonibare will be doing when I'm retired or not retired is going to be something that actually inspires connections that are good.
You said connections. I've had connections in many ways.
Yes.
Connections with staff, friends, family, customers, and your sense of awareness of, okay, this is where I am. When you had to scale down or reduce the scope of what you were doing, you being very pragmatic. I've taken a lot from today's session. I'm very grateful that you came on board. We have 2 things left that you're about to do. You're going to look into that camera and give a shout out to everyone who has helped you in your journey. Anyone and everyone that you can remember. If you can just name names and in like a sentence or 1.5 sentences, just say what they did, or you just want to mention their names in like a minute or 2.
I feel like I was made for this moment.
Hey, okay.
So first off, thank you, Donald. Thank you for sharing your vision with me and trusting me with it. Thank you, AB. You've been a brother to me on this journey. I look forward to life together, building value for as many people. And thank you, Kemi. Thank you, Kemi, for being inspirational. Thank you. Thank you, Boma, for being a good energy and being somebody that can inspire good ideas. And thank you for believing in yourself. Thank you, Afiz and Ola. Thank you for believing in me and in us from a very young age, leaving a bigger company to come and join us when we were barely 8 months. Thank you, Oduenweni. Thank you, Ibukun Akinola. Thank you, Razak Hamed. Thank you, Feromi. Thank you for replying my DM when I was trying to reach out to Karuwise. Thank you, Josh Chibueze. Thank you for believing and giving us a chance with Piggy Vest. Thank you to everybody that actually took a chance on me personally. Shout out to my mass communication favorite lecturer in university that actually helped me to understand like what public's management is. And most importantly, thank you, my wife, Oreoluwa Shonibare, for believing in a 19-year-old when he said that he wants to marry you and he wants to do life. with you. Even though I know Sabi, I didn't know what to take, but thank you for believing in me. Thank you for advising me to go and see Donald when he reached out for a meeting. You've been my co-founder in life, and I'm really excited for all the life that we'll do together. Thank you, Pastor Emmanuel Iren, Apostle Emmanuel Iren, for being a good example and showing me that bigger was possible. And thank you, Sir Jegs, for doing this.
Thank you very much for that. The second thing we're doing is to look at that young African business person that is about to start or is inspired by all that he or she has heard and about to start his or her business and saying, where do I even start from? How can I be like Oreoluwa Shonibare? How can my organization be like WiiCreate? Or maybe not a young African person, maybe an older person who is trying to start a business, that entrepreneur, what are the bullet points, life points, business points, guiding principles that you would like to share, things that are like guardrails through your own business journey that you like to give them in bullet points?
So, first thing I would say is start from where you are. You might have heard it a lot of times, but you need to know that starting from where you are is the only way to go. Because a lot of times we outsource responsibility. We are hoping that something would happen to us that would enable us to actually start. Maybe there's something that you think, like a laptop or something that you think without that you cannot start. You can start from where you are. Try your very best to understand the value that you provide. Understand it more than you are able to make money from it at every point in time. Try your very best to work with people that want to also synthesize value, people that are value-driven. There are shortcuts to take, but shortcuts can cause you to miss out on the actual valuable lesson that will lead to hyper growth. So if you try to do shortcuts and you miss your ways because you might have learned, there's a lesson that you should have learned before that you've not learned. And also understand that success is great, but the process that leads to success is more important. So even with the people that you currently work with, try to be a good individual to them. Don't think that there's a level of success that will make you a good person. Be a good person now. In the two people that you have, in the current place of work that you are, ensure that you are genuine, ensure you are straightforward, be trustworthy, be dependable. These concepts will help you in every context, and you'll be able to actually use it and grow. Whether it's a business, whether it's a career, you can be intentional enough to grow. And try your best to be of good influence. Be of good influence, because the world is lacking in positive influence. And you can be that change agent. So be that.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I've learned a lot. We've learned a lot. I'm sure this is one of those episodes that you watch and watch and watch again until the principles are second nature to you. I would like to say a very big thank you to you, Oreoluwa Shonibare, for coming. And to you out there who is enjoying this podcast, please like, subscribe, comment, share, and turn on the notification button. Until we see in the next episode, bye for now.